All right. Welcome to Slide Action, episode 2 of season 5, take 2. For those listening at home here, we're trying to get this going. I am Wegs. I am Jim Weglars, aka Wegs. I am in Mandalay Bay right now, so there's a lot of things going on around me. Follow me at Wegs School, Twitter, and on Instagram.
And I'm Steve Roberts, aka Action. You can follow me on Twitter at 31sroberts.
Well, the podcast, the Side Action Pod, on Twitter and on Instagram. So everybody can see, I am sitting by the pool. I am in a daybed that Night Ranger got for us here at Mandalay Bay. Action is not. So sorry, Action. We're missing you. It's great out here. Wish you were right next to me. We didn't have these technical difficulties.
Yeah. I am here at home in the home office here in Detroit. Unfortunately, I had to cancel my trip due to health concerns, COVID test. So that's all right. There'll be future trips to Vegas. I'm sure we'll reconvene at some point in the future.
Yeah, and what we'll do is, we'll just we're gonna win some money for you, man.
That's right.
Dice last night, Schwab was taking blackjack. I think Night Ranger won some blackjack last night. So good first night in the books. Got to keep it going. And I told you last night on the text, I was one number. I had to throw the aces. If I threw the aces, I would have got all the numbers for the first time in my life, Action. So today's the day. I can feel it.
That's right. Yeah, 1-30 shot on those aces. So 1-36 actually, but I think you'll get it today.
Exactly. Well, hey, Action, let's jump right into the action here. Last night we had the season kickoff. The Bills were 2.5-point favorites at the Rams. I was admittedly thinking the Rams were getting disrespected, but I think they apparently needed to be disrespected. They got housed 31-10 at home in the ring ceremony. So I don't know. It was kind of a weird game. Josh Allen looked great as the MVP, and Von Miller looked healthy. Takeaways from the game.
Yeah, I mean, you can go ahead and just pencil in the Bills as Super Bowl champs, right? Just following your prediction. But I think that there has to be some questions asked about the Rams, specifically on offense. It's hard for me to predict or predicate whether it was really the Bills defense that played really well or the Rams offense that just stunk. I think it was a little bit of combination of both. And you mentioned earlier, Von Miller was awesome last night, but on offense, the Rams, it didn't seem like Stafford was looking to anyone else besides Cooper Kupp. And eventually the defenses are going to figure that out and shut it down.
Yeah, a couple of career high receptions, 13 yesterday. Jordan Allen Robinson, good God. Van Jefferson, was he in the building? I mean,
yeah,
it's a weird game. And McVay, I don't know if his hair was just over spiked, but he wasn't really getting very inventive in the play calls either.
Yeah, right. And the ground game really stunk too. Akers on my fantasy team with a big donut. Darrell Henderson looked okay, but Stafford 3 more interceptions to take the league lead into the clubhouse. And I think there could be a few more of those in his future.
Yeah, maybe there's some to those elbow things that they were talking about. He's got elbow issues. So
right.
It's only game 1. See what happens. Let's jump into some notes from the season. We've obviously got some trends that we like to see in week 1 that we talk about. I was thinking it was an over week, but you're saying that traditionally it's actually under in week 1.
Yeah, I think typically defenses start out with a little bit of an edge over their counterparts on the offensive side of the ball, with the exception of 2020 due to the pandemic and the crowd and all the nuances and so forth. But last season, unders in week 1 were 9-7, and I think that, at least for me, I'm looking more to the unders this week rather than overs.
You also have noted that in week 1, Underdogs is when you got to go for that, especially there's a lot of plus money out there. Last year was a big underdog at 12-4. What is your overall trend for Underdogs week 1?
Yeah, last year 12-4, as you mentioned, but since 2016, week 1 dogs have been 53-39 against the spread, and that's pretty tidy, 58%. And then digging down even further, if you look at divisional underdogs in week 1, they're especially profitable, going 29-9-1 against the spread since 2014 for a 76% clip.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the time you're going to take some of these. I remember last year, Cardinals over Tennessee. I think the Cardinals beat San Francisco the year before. Yep. So it's definitely, you can get kind of those good payouts early as nobody, not even the books, know which teams are really good at this point. So as we jump into the actual Circa lines, and actually, as you know, I have not signed up for the contest yet, but Our proxy will be there tomorrow with me. He's going to sign up with me, and then he is taking your true proxy position at Stadium Swim on Sunday. So he's being a real proxy for you.
Yeah. I'm hopeful that he'll have a great time on Sunday. I know that he will with you guys, though.
Yeah, when I asked him to do it, he's like, I can't afford that. I'm like, what if your brother-in-law paid for it? He's like, oh, okay.
In. Sweet.
For all the hard work that he puts in as our proxy and all the
Yeah,
he's a loyal listener too.
no doubt.
Well, let's jump into these circle lines. Some of the stuff you mentioned was about divisional rivalries in this week one and kind of value to the underdog. The first matchup is the Saints against the Falcons. That's in Atlanta. The Saints come in as a 5.5-point favorite, low total of 42.5. You know, we kind of differ on the Saints' prospects for the season, but it seems like a big number, especially for that low total.
Yeah, definitely. And you're seeing money that has moved this line up. When it opened in the summer, it was 3.5, and now as the summer wears on, it's creeping to 5.5. Obviously, sentiment of the Saints is going up in the market, and I think it's understood among bettors that the Falcons are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. So that's part of the reason for this number. But for me, I think it's one-way traffic. Only looking at the home dog here, the Saints in the first 2 weeks of the year have been 3-13 against the spread recently. Of course, that was with their previous coach, Sean Payton, and now they have Dennis Allen at the helm, so it's hard to know what to expect out of them. But for me, it's Falcons or pass.
Well, Sean Payton and Drew Brees for years, right? So
True.
it's kind of hard. I don't know really necessarily trust Jameis Winston. And kind of we talked in the preview, I'm not a big fan of all the kind of off-season antics that were going on, you know, with Alvin Kamara and stuff like that. So it's probably a stay away, though, for the contest, right?
Yeah, I think so, too.
Let's go to the second game. You know, my Bears are hosting the 49ers. 49ers are 7-point favorite this time, 41.5-point total, really low total here. Trey Lance in his second start as a career, but it's supposed to be his deal, but he's got Jimmy G over his shoulder. I really don't like this number for the 49ers, especially with Kittle maybe being hurt, but maybe tough to do on the contest, right?
Yeah, I agree. Again, this is another one that's dog or pass for me. Remember last year, opening weekend, the Niners were in a similar spot at an NFC North foe in Detroit, laying 8.5, I think, by kickoff, and they were up 28-0 in the first half and let the Lions come all the way back in the game, and the Lions actually covered that game. So
Yeah.
I think that it's a similar situation this season with the big change is that Trey Lance is playing quarterback instead of Jimmy G. So I think there could be a lot of variance in this game, high or low. And I just can't be betting the 49ers until I see what Trey Lance actually brings to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably stay away. Like I said, as we rank these games, this is probably my 7th game, you know,
Yeah.
so it's not one I'm going to pick necessarily, but I'm probably going to line up in my against the spread pick with the Bears this time.
Sure.
So here's the divisional matchup: Steelers at Bengals. Bengals are 6.5-point favorite, 4.5-point total. Now on this one, Steelers D is supposed to be good. You got Mr. Trubisky starting, but that's a pretty big number for a divisional spot, and we kind of follow our trend of following the underdog.
Yeah, I think so. This is one game that I had circled with the Steelers plus 6.5, which is a pretty large spread for a divisional game. I make this game closer to 3, and at 3.5 maybe, but surely at this number there has to be some value on the Steelers. And I think that Burrow and the Bengals offense didn't really get much run out in the preseason this year. He has an all brand new offensive line, which I think is going to take some time for them to get up to speed. And on defense, I expect that the Steelers should be able to hold them down a little bit this week.
Well, and the Bengals got hot late. You know, they were really good during the season, but their last 6 games were incredible. And so, you know, it takes – now the Bills show that they stayed hot, right? But I don't know if the Bengals had that same, you know, coach as much, to be honest with you, as I mentioned before. So I think we can pencil the Steelers in as a yellow for the pick here.
Yep, agreed.
Well, let's go to your hometown team now. The Lions are hosting the Eagles. These are 2 of the most hyped teams right now. The Eagles being, you know, -4 on the road here, total of 48.5. Everybody's picking this team for the NFC Championship. Not everybody, but a lot of people. I do have them for the division. And the Lions coming off Hard Knocks have a lot of buzz. You know, which of these which buzz do you follow, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I think that these are probably the two most hyped teams in the preseason, and I would say that the Philly hype is just a little bit higher than the Lions hype. This might be the only week here in the first half of the year that you actually get a Lions pick where they're the lesser hyped team going into the season.
Right.
And so again, I think this is a home underdog or pass for me. I mentioned that the spread across the market is 4.5, 5, and here in the contest we're only getting 4, so a little bit of a depressed number as you compare it to the market. But again, I still think that the Lions, again, another unproven quarterback. I mean, Hurts was okay last season, but it's not really a player that I want to get behind laying 4 points on the road.
Right, for sure. So it's a stay away for you?
I think so. I mean, you could convince me to play the Lions. Maybe it's one that we keep in our back pocket for later.
Right. Let's go to another divisional matchup. Patriots at Dolphins. Dolphins are 3.5-point favorites at home, 46.5-point total. I know we differ on the prospects of these teams. I do think the Patriots, just because of coaching, I think they're going to come out prepared. The 3.5 is right about the line. I mean, I do kind of like the hook there. Divisional matchup, but I mean, where do you sit on this one?
Agree. I'm kind of surprised that you like the Patriots in this match, actually, but it's all about the number. I think 3.5 in this divisional divisional road game for the Patriots. Now, historically, they don't fare super well in the heat in Miami, and surely on September 11, it's going to be as hot as it's ever going to be this season. But I also just compare these two coaches. Mike McDaniel is a rookie, and when you look at him going up against the greatest of all time and Bill Belichick, it's hard to see them laying 3.5 in this game. So I think the value is all in the Patriots.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing is, if you remember, the Patriots were probably usually favored in these games when they kind of had issues.
True.
But they've outright lost to Miami quite a few times. But so is this something you consider for the contest?
Yeah, definitely. I like the Patriots a lot.
Let's put a yellow on the Pats. All right, here we go. This is Action's second favorite team, the Jets. The Jets host the Ravens. The Ravens are 7-point favorites on the road, 44.5-point total. You know, you've got Joe Flacco now for the first 4 weeks of the season for the Jets. I can't believe he's still playing, to be honest with you. This is my survivor pick for the Ravens, but 7 is a big number, even though Lamar looks like he's not going to get his extension, but he's going to play under his contract for $23 million and maybe get franchised. So any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I really like the Ravens. I think they're going to put the hammer down in week 1. Over the last 5 seasons, they're 4-1 straight up and have outscored their opponents by 139 points. So this touchdown doesn't really scare me at all. If it were 7.5 or greater, I certainly would reconsider that point. But I think that the Ravens are going to come out here and just run over the Jets. Joe Flacco being under center, I think, is a plus for this bet as well. He's going to be a statue back there, and I think the Ravens pass rush is going to get to him.
But it's a Joe Flacco revenge game.
It is indeed. I don't know. I don't put much stock into that, to be honest. It's so far removed from that. The Ravens are a Lamar Jackson team now, and it's a totally different franchise in terms of their game plan and running the ball. So I'm not sure if Flacco really has that in his back pocket.
Well, I guess let's put it as a yellow. I mean, I'm okay taking a favorite. Most of these are dogs that we're looking at this week, I think. So
yeah, and I think if we're looking to go against the public here a little bit in the contest, that a favorite or 2 is not a bad idea.
Right. All right, let's go to a humdinger of the game here. The Jags at the Commanders, and that's the Washington football team for those who haven't caught up. Commanders are 2.5-point favorites at home, 44-point total. I mean, the Jags, they're getting some good, reads for the offense coming out of camp, but Washington's D's been underachieving. Wow. I think Washington's, they're probably better, but, I mean, what is your take on this game?
Well, I mean, we've seen some line movement here just in the last week and a half or 2. There was 3.5s pretty much throughout the entire summer. And now money's come in on Jacksonville to bring this under a field goal, which you have to respect, for one. But now that it is under a field goal, I could only look to one way in this game, and that would be with the home Washington team laying 2.5.
Yeah.
Of course, Carson Wentz is not my favorite quarterback, but I do believe that there's value here on the home team now at the current number.
Yeah, how many times did Wentz screw us last year?
Plenty.
And that was for your Colts. So,
yeah.
So would you consider this a contest or just to stay away?
I would consider Washington in the contest. Yeah, I mean, I think that we're going to find 5 better picks in the end, but if it came down to it, we could come back to it.
Yeah, and it's a low pick game, as you kind of noted, so that's true. Let's go to the next one, which is, I have strong feelings, but it keeps moving. The Browns at Panthers. Panthers are now favored in the contest, 42.5-point total. This is a massive line move, mainly because of Baker, I guess, when the opening line came out. I do like Carolina to win. I do have them winning easily with Jacoby Brissett, but is it kind of fool's gold? I mean, that's what are you getting, like a 7.5-point move or 6.5-point move in this game?
Yeah, I mean, early on in the summer when these came out, I think it was Cleveland minus 3.5 initially. And so now at the current number, 1.5, it's really a 5-point move. But, I mean, a lot of that I think was Deshaun Watson, although I don't know anyone in the betting market that considered that Deshaun would be under center in week 1. So you have to think that was at least somewhat priced into that market initially. And so going this far, as much as you and I both think that Carolina's underrated this year, I think it's a little too far, to be honest. And I would probably look at the Browns here at the current number.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm on the Baker Panthers train, but I think it's a stay away. You said you're on the Browns?
Yeah, I mean, at 1.5, like, I have to admit, I mean, I bet it earlier in the summer. I took Carolina plus 3.5. So now at Carolina minus 1.5, it's a totally different discussion. And, the Browns roster we talked about last week, it's stacked between the running backs and, the wide receivers. And their defensive prowess is really good as well. So, I mean, they're a great team. It's just, what do you expect out of Brissett?
We haven't been talking a lot of totals yet, but, I mean, 42.5 is low, but I still think this is an under. I mean, I don't see the Browns put up a lot of points, and the Panthers' defense is stout, so this could be a really low score.
I also like the under. It's a good call.
Let's go to your team, the Colts. They're going to the Texans. They're 7-point favorites on the road, 46-point total. Houston, they're not going to be good, but got a little late in the year last year. They got Lovey the coach. 7 points at home. That's a lot of points even for your Colts, right?
Yeah, definitely. I first started out in this game looking at last year's matchups. The Colts won 31-0 and 31-3 in those 2 games. And Jonathan Taylor just ran all over them last season.
Yeah.
And so you have to expect that the Houston defensive coaches and Lovie Smith is going to be prepared for that and game plan a little bit around stopping Jonathan Taylor. And so I personally think that there was some value on Houston at 8 or 7.5. You've seen some money come in on them this week, which has pushed it down to 7, which gives me a little pause, to be honest. I was initially leaning to Houston, but at 7, it makes it tougher. What do you think?
So stay away.
Yeah, I mean, unless we want to just go complete contrarian and lay 7 with the Colts.
Probably not in week 1.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah.
All right, let's go to Giants at Titans. The Titans are a 6-point favorite at home, 43.5-point total. I mean, I'm predicting a Titans kind of not collapse, but definitely a down year. 6 points at home. It's a big number. I think the Giants aren't great, but it seems like a lot of points delayed for a team that I'm not really feeling great about. At a low total, 43.5.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you got to look at the underdog side in this game. Remember last year, I know you touched on the top that Arizona went in there and got the win in week 1. But, you got it. When you compare that last season Arizona team to the Giants, they're certainly not on the same level. And I know the spread was different, but Um, Also, I think that Mike Vrabel is a very good coach, and I don't really know what to expect out of Dayball quite yet. So personally, I think it should be a pass for us.
Right, right. Okay. Let's go to a game I'm a little more passionate about. That's the Packers at the Vikings. Packers are 1.5 point favorites on the road, 47-point total here. I'm I'm picking the money line for Vikings. I'm not saying the Packers aren't good; they're good, but the Vikings' offense is solid, and the Packers. I don't know, man. I really I don't. I'm not sure why they're really favored in this game. I could see a pick 'em, but so I'm definitely going to look to the Vikings, and I'm hitting the money line in this one actually.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I also love the Vikings in this game, and I think they're going to win. Um, the Green Bay has not been good in week one the last several seasons. We talked about the loss to New Orleans last year down in Florida on that neutral site game. And having to go on the road in the division here in week one, I think is going to be difficult for them, especially at Minnesota, which probably has one of the greater home field advantages in the league. Minnesota has the new coach, Kevin O'Connell, and I think that they're going to open up the offense quite a bit more this season. And I like the Vikings a lot in this game.
All right. We got our first green of the season, thank God.
Yeah.
It makes it a little easier tomorrow. All right, let's go with this one. Chiefs, they're 6-point favorites at the Cardinals, 53.5-point total. I know I'm down on the Cardinals. I am. But this seems like a big number. I know the Chiefs are good. Maybe not as good as last year, in my view. But why are the Cardinals getting disrespected so badly in this game?
I don't understand it either. I mean, this line was 3.5 most of the summer, and it's been bet up to 6. I saw some rumors on the internet yesterday that there's a new Call of Duty game that came out, which may impact Kyler Murray a little bit. So that could be the reason. But no, in all seriousness, I think that there's some injuries on the Arizona offense. DeAndre Hopkins is out, that, but some of the other receivers and the tight end, I think are banged up. That
So
could be
would you
part
back
of
the Cardinals for the contest?
I do. I think we should consider Arizona in the contest for sure. What do you think?
All right, sorry. There's massive amounts of noise here. There's helicopters, there's planes.
Oh no! Is there a rescue going on?
Cards. I can't keep it straight here. I'm sorry. So to backtrack, so you think would the Cardinals be a pick for you in the contest?
Yeah, I would consider the Cardinals, if you will.
Let's put them at least yellow there, I guess. We got a couple more games here. 3 more games. The Raiders and Chargers. Chargers are 3.5-point favorites at home, 52-point total. I love the Chargers. We've loved them for years on this podcast, and besides that, but this game was obviously an excellent game in the playoff. Like, it was a playing game at the end of last year. 3.5 points is a little tough for a road dog there. I don't know, man. I love the Chargers, but I don't like them.
Agree. Yeah, I think that the Chargers are going to win this game, but I don't think I want to lay 3.5. If it were 3, you could convince me pretty easily. But despite that, I think we should pass.
Okay, so stay away. And you wouldn't back the Raiders, though?
No, I don't think so. I expect that the Chargers defensively are going to be ready to stop Josh Jacobs this year after he ran all over them to that victory last season in Week 17. And on the other side of the ball, I don't think that the Raiders are going to be improved, certainly, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop the Chargers offensively.
So this is obviously a high total. Last one was too. This is 52. Would this be? I mean, normally that high total would be an underplay, but would this be a sneaky overplay because of the team?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. You've seen a little movement up. It was 51.5 on open, now 52, and even some 52.5. I did it last night and lost. I'm not really interested in going over 52 in week one right now.
Gotcha. All right, last 2 games, the Bucs are going to the Cowboys. This is kind of rematch of the opening game last year, but in reverse at the Cowboys. Bucs are 2.5-point favorites on the road, total of 50. So my question really is, whose offensive line is worse right now, the Cowboys or the Bucs? I do like the Cowboys money line here, actually. I think they're going to play pretty good, and the Bucs as much as Tom Brady, we teased him about his face. I'm more concerned about the matchup of the Cowboys defense against the Bucs offense. I think that the defense is going to play really well. What's your take in this game?
Yeah, I think both of these defenses are set up for success. I expect both Dak and Brady to be under tons of pressure, and I am definitely betting the under in this game. Already done so at 52. At least there's one lone 52 left in the market. As far as the side, though, I can't really make heads or tails of it, to be honest with you. I mean, Dallas is it at? Oh, it's at Tampa. Sorry, I had that back. Wait, is it Dallas or at Tampa? Shoot, now I'm confused. I thought it was at Dallas, right?
This game's at Dallas.
All right.
Last year it's at Tampa. I was saying that last year they played at Tampa to open the season. And
That's
actually
right.
the Cowboys covered the number. They didn't win the game, but this year it's in Dallas.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, 2.5 at home. I think that there is a little bit of value on Dallas. I think Tampa's going to win the game, but taking the 2.5 could be advisable.
Okay. So are we going to stay away from the contest, or are we going to look at Dallas as an option?
I think we could look at Dallas. I'll highlight it. We can chat about it more tomorrow. I'm assuming you're on board with Dallas, right?
Yeah. I'm betting the money line, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, how about the Cowboys? All right, so last game on the slate, which is kind of a weird game. I know why they did it, but there's only one Monday night game this year for the opener. Don't know why. And the only game is the Broncos in Seattle. We know it's the return of Russell to Seattle. 6.5-point favorites for the Broncos in Seattle, 44.5-point total. This is the Matt Stanford special. He loves the Seahawks to win outright. I don't know if I can get on board with that. 6.5 is, I mean, we know Seattle's not good, but I mean, who plays better? Does the pudgy Russell Wilson or the Geno Smith-led Seahawks in this game?
I'm with Matt Stanford here. I think this is a slam dunk spot for Seattle. Talk about home field advantage. I think that the crowd, the 12th man, as they call them, is going to be raucous on Monday night, and I think that's really going to give a competitive edge to the Seahawks here. At 6.5, I think this number should be like 4 or 4.5. So I think you're getting quite a bit of value here just at the number.
Yeah, just so you know, since we've gone over the games, the games that I identified as potentials were the Falcons, the Bears, Panthers, I think, on different sides, the Vikings, Cardinals, Cowboys, and Seahawks. So it seems like we're pretty consistent on that, which sounds good. We do have a lot to pick from, though, obviously.
Yeah. A lot of work to do between now and tomorrow.
So, we've got some time. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Circa Million. I didn't update the entries. I'd have to check. As of last night, it was more like 3,900. I don't think they're going to get to the 6,000 entries for the pickup contest. So there should be an overlay. I do think the Survivor is going to surpass it. It was really close. I think they needed 80 entries last night to hit the 6,000. So, we all discussed, actually, Schwa and Night Ranger and stuff. If we have a good night tonight, but we may have a side action entry into the Survivor. I'm not sure yet.
Nice.
But for now, it looks like to be an overlay in the big contest.
Yeah, I just pulled it up here. 4,029 entries currently.
Yes.
And so still almost a $2 million overlay as we sit here on Friday. And I expect maybe they might get like another 500 entries between now and tomorrow afternoon. And that would be doing pretty well. So we're looking at a pretty good contest here for us to get into.
And I think I might have gone over this last week, but just to recap, the season long, the top 100, they pay $1 million, of course, to number one. If we do get the top 100, you get your money back plus $1,000, so it's $2,000 for the 100. But they're also paying the bottom two for season long. I don't know if you saw that. $100,000 for the bottom, $50,000 for the second to last. But quarterly, they're also paying the top 5, and they're playing the bottom. So just, it isn't going to happen in America. We're going to win the $1 million, but let's say we come out rocky, we could go for the worst. Get $25K. Right.
Yeah, and there's quarterly booby prizes this year too, I think.
Yeah, that's good money, man, for being terrible. So there might be a lot of split entries this time. It might be kind of a haves and have-nots this season. People going for the money, or on the top end or the bottom end. So Well, that kind of wraps us up, action. We're going to miss you tomorrow at Stadium Swim. If you are in the area, feel free to stop by. We do have some VIP chairs that we've secured for Sunday. We're going to have a good time. See if I can get Night Ranger in the shot. You want to come in the shot, Night Ranger? Get a photo bomb. Dempsey's here. He secured us the day bed for our taping, and there he is. He's our local guy. To get you to the main thing here, you can see yourself.
Schwa still working, I take it.
Everybody. But we already are drinking cocktails in your honor, action. So we miss you. We definitely hope you get better, and we'll be here obviously in March again, hopefully, so you can secure it with us again.
That's right. And if we get into one of those quarterly contest runnings, maybe we'll make a little impromptu trip to collect our quarter.
If we're in for a quarter, we're flying out here. We're going to hit the tables. They're going to give us a comp suite at Circa. You know that. So.
That's right.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening and viewing. Follow us at Action Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me at Wegs on Twitter and Instagram.
And follow me on Twitter at 31S Roberts.
All right, everybody. Good luck in week 1.